Hello, and welcome to another edition of Exclusive Interview, coming to you from the studios of 84 TV Radio Abuja, Nigeria. My name is Stanley Bentu. Now, there are lots and lots of professions in this world, but there are some that when you think about them, you only think of men. For example, when you think of a mechanic or a plumber or even a commercial driver. But what were to happen if you were to make a call to your taxi service and a woman pulls up? Would you be surprised? Would you be inspired? Would you be a little bit skeptical? Well, the world is changing and women are beginning to move into careers that have before now been considered the exclusive preserve of men. On today's edition, we'll be talking to one of those women. But before that, let us have a look at this report.
Women in traditionally male-dominated fields, such as engineering and finance, face a difficult hurdle. According to a new study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology, Volume 89, Number 3, if they succeed, their co-workers, both male and female, may unfairly see them as unsociable and difficult to work with. However, women who excel in careers seen as stereotypical female, such as employee assistant managers and educators, do not face similar censure, says study co-author Madeleine Hillman, PhD professor of psychology at New York University. Success is okay for a woman if it is in an area that is not seen as off-limits to them. Hillman notes, what we are seeing is a reaction to their violation of stereotyped norms. The driver's seat of a taxi remains an almost exclusively male domain. In Nigeria, very few cab drivers are female. In a job dominated by men, making a way on Nigeria's often chaotic transport routes cannot be easy. But most female taxi drivers who ply the highways continue to find new and interesting ways to attract passengers to themselves and keep their businesses moving. Esther is one of such drivers. She speaks candidly to Exclusive Interview about life as driver who happens to be female.
Welcome back to Exclusive Interview. And today I'm very excited because I'm joined right here in the studio by a businesswoman who unexpectedly found herself in the professional driving business. Very unusual for right here in Nigeria. Her name is Esther Ese Ugbobo. Hi, Esther.
Hello.
I'm still looking at you. You can tell that I'm very surprised. It must be very good. But tell me about yourself.
My name is Esther Ese Ugbobo from Delta State. Second born of my mom from Delta State as well.
Okay.
A businesswoman.
What businesses have you gone into in your life?
Yes, food business. Yeah, I ran a restaurant before I got into the driving platform.
So you've got to tell me this. Here you are, running a food business. This is what you know. And usually when people think about cooking, they for some reason or other associated with the female gender, even though some people believe that men can cook better than women. But driving, on the other hand, is more associated with the male gender. Don't ask me why. These are just societal standards. So tell me, Esther, how did you get into this particular line of work?
And it's circumstances. Yeah, I got frustrated at my place of business when I started growing up in my restaurant, and the owner of the place actually said he wants his property back, and that was how I got myself into this platform, the driving platform. I was frustrated. My business was down. They forcefully took the property away from me, and there was no...
Why did he do that? What was the problem?
Because he says that I'm already making more progress. Something that he couldn't handle before he let the place out.
He wanted to go into that same business.
Yes, sir.
I hear about this happening a lot, and it's such a terrible thing that a landlord would lease out a place to you, see that you're doing well in the business that you start, and then decide, hey, you know what, I want to start that business, I want to take it over. And it usually doesn't end well for the landlord.
Yes, sir.
But this is what happened to you.
Yes, sir. This is what really happened to me. So I had to look for a way out of that city and got myself in Lagos. Whereby then this Taxify just came up newly, and I said...
And you were a single mother at the time.
Yes,
you have a son.
Yeah, I have a son.
Good-looking boy.
Thank you. That needs to, that needs life, He needs to live as well. He needs to go to school because I was not able to acquire that educational knowledge because of circumstances my parents faced. So I was not able to
to get like a white-collar job or any of those high-paid jobs.
Yes. So that was how I got the job. And
so you were forced to leave town?
Yes, I was forced because my life was under threat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my life was under threat because they fought me. To the extent we took the whole issue to the police station, and because the man has money more than me, he was able to buy his way through. And there was nothing I could do since my life was under threat. And my mom said instead of me to just lose my life, I should just let go of the business. That was how I left the city.
So you moved to Lagos.
I moved to Lagos.
Had you lived in Lagos before? Had you ever visited prior to that time?
Yeah, Lagos. I grew up in Lagos. Yeah, so I just said, okay, let me go see if I can earn a living over there. So when I got there, it was that period in time I saw that Taxify came up. And I said, let me see how I can go about it if it's okay, because I love driving. Driving is a profession. I mean, I have a passion.
It's a passion.
Yeah. I have a passion in driving. So, and I said, okay, let me go and try if I will be accepted. So when I got there, I was asked out. They said anybody can come into the platform. The only thing they require is just for you to bring your car. So I was opportune to get a car, and I registered the car for the very first time. It was a little bit challenging.
When you got it. What were you thinking? Did you think, oh my God, they may look and see that I'm a woman and then they may not want me, or were you just confident, I'm going to go there and I'm going to get this?
Yes, I was confident because when I look at it that there's nobody that can offer me food, no one that can be able to give me something to feed my son. I said, well, this is it. This is what I have to do to feed my son, to let him go to school, So that was how I was confident. Out of confidence. Yes.
So you were accepted. Your car was accepted.
The car was accepted, and it was registered. And the first, I started at night.
At night in Lagos.
In Lagos, yes. I was the first female Taxify. The first female Taxify, and they were like, "Do you think you can do this?" I said, "Why not? I can do anything." I can do all things, sorry.
Wow.
I can do all things. Okay. So long he provides food.
So at night with all those crazy drivers.
Yes, I was.
How did your first day go?
It wasn't easy because I was just trying to get used to the app. And when they made the request, I was like, try to see how I'm going to get to the destination. So when I got there, the first person I met was a lady, and she was very angry that she was saying that she didn't even know that it was a lady, that she wants me to drive the car into her compound, to her doorsteps. it was very difficult. At a point, I almost got angry, and I'm like, you know the reason why we are doing this. So, and I said, well, no problem. You know, every customer, you have to treat them.
So you had a lady as your first customer.
Yeah, the lady.
And she was furious that
She
you were a
was so
woman
furious.
driving her.
Yes, a woman driving her.
And you had to keep your cool and be professional in spite of this. How hard was that?
It's not easy,
Mm.
you know, letting go of pride, you know, letting go of your ego, you know. It's not that easy, though. But I have to build up confidence and say, so long this is what is going to give me, provide for me.
So you succeeded on your first trip?
On the first trip, yes, I succeeded with a lot of issues.
Did she change her mind about, or change her attitude once,
No, she didn't.
once you dropped her
She didn't.
successfully?
She was so arrogant.
So this comes from perhaps a place where you know, a lot of Nigerians tend to believe that women are not good drivers. Did you face such attitudes, or have you faced such attitudes throughout the course of your career as a professional?
No, in fact, some people will not, they will be so skeptical, you know, to drive with a lady. Well, there's some, they will come up and say, even my wife, I don't, like the males will say, I don't even allow my wife to drive. But as of the point we start the trip, they see the way I drive. They make a lot of compliments. I say, wow, you drive like a man. You drive like a man.
I don't know that all men are good drivers, so I'm not sure exactly what that means.
So
but I guess they're trying to compliment you and say, you're
you drive
handling
well.
yourself very well.
They will ask me, how long have you been on the road? And so I'll say, well, I've been driving for the past 8 years.
It's interesting that men think that they're better drivers, because more men get into car accidents than women. So, have you ever experienced a car accident in your professional career?
No,
never, not once.
Never, not.
That is
never.
Quite a record. And how many trips have you done?
On the record, I've done more than 8,000.
Over 1,000?
Over 1,000.
And no incident?
No incident.
Wow.
Accident.
Now that is quite something. Well, we will have to take a break, but when we come back, we'll learn about more, including challenges if you're a woman operating in an industry dominated by men. Don't go away. We will be right back.
I believe since I'm making my money, I can equally do anything just to make my money. As far as I'm not into any criminal act, if it's driving, I can equally do that.
Yeah, I can. There's nothing wrong with it. The aim is to make money, and it's a decent job. It's a decent thing to do. I can do it.
Everybody wants to be comfortable. Like, everybody wants to do what they're comfortable with. But if the need arises, like, I'm left with no option, I can consider being an Uber driver or a Bolt driver. But I wouldn't want to. But if the need arises and I'm left with no option, I can just consider that.
Welcome back to Exclusive Interview. I'm still spending time with Esther Ese Ebobo, who is a businesswoman and right now is in the transportation business. You have driven for Taxify and have gone over 1,000 trips without any incident. That is quite a record for any driver. But this is a male-dominated industry. So what would you say are the challenges that you face, particularly when it comes to safety?
Okay.
And if any woman going out at several hours, maybe taking strange people to different places, you've got to be security conscious as much as possible. So do you face such concerns?
I have never faced such challenges, but I've been guided. I've been guided if it comes to that. It depends on who I'm picking. If my instincts tell me not to go, I just let go of it. I let go of I have not for once faced any challenges apart from the one that have been assaulted. Okay. I was once assaulted.
What happened there?
I picked a rider whom happened to be going to a different destination and asked me to take him to a different place. And I said, okay, basically by the guideline on a boat, he requested to go to Jabi, and he was like asking me to stop at a different destination and wait for him. I said, look, I can't waste my time. Time is money. And he said he's not going to pay me. So those are the challenges. Before I knew it, he started fighting. Yeah, broke my phone. And I tried to put this on record, but unfortunately I couldn't get it on record. So
Oh, that was why he broke your phone?
Yes.
Because you were trying to record the incident?
Yes. So that was those are the challenges we faced. And
so how did you take up those challenges? How did you make sure that, number one, that he's held to account, and number two,
it wasn't
that
held,
this doesn't happen?
Sorry, he wasn't held on account.
He wasn't?
Because I have to write to the boat and company to lodge my complaint and snap the evidence. I sent them the evidence, and the only thing they sent to me that they're going to look into it. And those are the major challenges that we face with most of these business owners of the company.
Did you experience, I know another thing that I've read about that a lot of female drivers tend to experience is sexual harassment. Have you ever experienced that, or are there any other female, either from passengers or stuff?
No, I don't welcome such.
Okay.
I don't welcome such.
Well, sometimes it comes whether you welcome it or not.
No, I have not experienced such because if you allowed, I don't know, maybe because of me, because I don't allow it, because of where I'm coming from, what I've passed through. So even when some guys try to make passes, I just push it away. There's no avenue, no room for it anyway. When you see me, you know that there's no room for it. I just mind my business. You
just act as professionally as you can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how many women are you aware of who are in this industry at the moment?
Yeah, few women.
You have friends who?
I happen to meet some who happen to be on the same platform,
But you were the first
from
one
Lagos, yes.
Do they ask you for advice or guidance in any way?
When I was in Lagos, a few women was very encouraged to say, if you can go into this, you're not scared. I say, life is a risk itself. So I believe that I just put my trust on God for my safety. So I don't take it as one big deal. So,
what does your family think about that? Are they supportive, or did they do a double take when you told them that you had gone into this business?
No, what should I say? Anyway, it's just my younger brother that knew about it, because he knows about the challenges that I was. But he was like, God help you. Because I know you're trying to get up. God help you. So it was shock, because the day I have to pour out my heart, I was on tears. So this is the situation where I have found myself. None of my immediate family, my other family, they didn't even know about it. They don't even know what is going on around me. Everybody's just living on their own.
So do they know before you came on this interview?
Yeah, just today.
Just today. Well, they will know now. Your story is really inspiring. And so how have you been able to find your way back at your feet? I mean, here you were, you had the restaurant business, you were forced out of it, had to leave town. And I know a little about leaving town and starting your life all over again. It's very, very difficult. Even more difficult when you have dependents, when you have somebody to take care of. So you cannot afford to fail. So tell me about that journey, finding your way back on your feet and becoming the person you are now, because I saw you with your son earlier, and I mean, you're doing great.
Yeah, by the grace of God, I believe. I'm still looking forward, to that. It has not been easy. Being a single mom, it has not been easy at all. And most especially when you don't have your own car doing this, it's been a challenge, because the owner of this vehicle will always want to get the vehicle back, and it will look as if you're going back to square one again. So
why do they do that?
Yeah, because most of them will want to have their car back, or maybe most of the time the car may not be in a good shape, so the business cannot be able to continue. Yes.
So they ask for the car back because they feel that it costs too much to maintain the vehicle?
Yes, and it's a challenge on my own part, because sometimes I don't end up getting anything out of it.
Because you have to spend a lot.
I have to spend a lot on it, and without getting, and the owner is the one making profit more on it. So there is no point to be making suffering. And what really makes me to come into the business was just to earn a living for my son. Yeah.
So now you are looking forward to trying to get your own car, and now to get that full ownership, which would put more money in your pocket, right?
Yeah. If an opportunity to get one, which will be my own, I think it will make a difference, because it will create a lot of platform and other ideas that I have on ground.
Wow.
So.
Well, I wish you the best with your ideas. I think that you are an exceptional human being, a woman of courage.
Thank you.
We don't meet a lot of people who are able to do this, but I can see why you have been able to put yourself back together this way, and I have no doubt that you will move on to greater success.
Amen.
It's been a pleasure having you, Esther.
Thank you, sir.
Well, we'll take a break, but when we come back, I'll share a few thoughts with you. Don't go away.
I have this belief that whatever a man can do, a woman can do it better. And I believe if a man can drive me safely to wherever I'm going to, a woman also can do that. Since I can drive, it's simple.
A lady can also drive well too now. It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter.
If the woman can drive very well, she can follow all the rules and regulations, and she knows all the rules and regulations, that I think there is no any problem in taking a ride while the woman is a driver.
Yeah, of course, because it is always said that what a man can do, a woman can do the same, or can do equally. So irrespective of gender problem, women are like any other person that is created by God. So I felt that women can do what everybody can do.
Once she knows how to drive, once she's qualified, once she's trained, so I can.
Definitely, I'll be comfortable taking a bike with a female in a boat. The world is meant for everybody. Gender-wise, we ought not to discriminate on who or who not to sit or take a boat ride with.
Well, I must say that I'm very deeply moved and very deeply touched about Esther. Not just because she's a woman of tremendous skill, but also because she is driven. She is a woman who loves her family, who loves her son, and is willing to go through any lengths to make sure that he is well taken care of, even if it means taking on a challenge that is really reserved for largely people of the opposite sex. Well, it shows you how much the world is changing and how much we must change along with it. Esther is doing well, and in spite of all the challenges that she has been through, she's applying herself into growing and changing and becoming a leader in an industry and setting an example and being an inspiration for so many other women, little boys, and little girls all over the country. What she needs right now is a little bit of support. So if you are out there and want to lend that support, she's trying to get a vehicle in order to expand and advance her business. Well, it would be great if we could give her a little hand up. If you would like to do so, I think that you can feel free to get in touch with us at 84 TV Radio, Abuja, Nigeria, and I'm sure that she would truly appreciate that. Well, that's it on this edition of Exclusive Interview. Don't forget to join us again next time. Until then, thank you for stopping by.